Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the channel with the Antagonist Game. We are back with Metroid Prime Remaster. We've got a few things left to do before we get to the very end. We missed a couple of logbook entries, so we're going to have to deal with that. Metroid Prime Remaster on Switch is on Switch, property of Nintendo. And then we are also going to have to we missed a few logbook entries, and then we've got some items to grab in the Phazon Drifts region. Analysis of artifact temple. Return artifacts to gain access to temple. Thing is, we don't have all of them yet. We're missing one Chozo lore from the it's in the Hall of the Elders. I think we'll probably go to Phazon first. And then we'll come back to I think, yeah, and we missed some pirate data in the lab, the space pirate lab, and then we missed a missile expansion in the gravity chamber, which I talked about in the last video, and then and then there's some stuff that's trapped in ice, and then there's also a Chozo artifact. So we have to go through the Magmore caverns to get there. I don't actually think there is a direct way to the Talon overworld from the Phazon Drifts region. I think it only goes to Magmore? Alright. Yeah. I think you have to cut through Magmore Caves to get to Phazon Drifts, every time. I believe it only has 2 elevators in it. One at the beginning of the dungeon, or at the beginning of the region, and then the other one next to the boss room. Both of those go to Magmore Caves. Fell into the lava instead of getting the grappling hook. The grappling hook item. So we're at 94% for the logbook and 94% for item pickup. And somehow one of the things I forgot to scan was the flying pirates. Flying pirates are extremely agile in the air, but the heat signatures of their jetpacks can be tracked with thermal imaging. While their missiles are extremely potent, their jetpacks can be even more so. If the pack fails, they will make a suicide strike. That puts me at still 94%. We still have a couple of bosses left to scan for creatures, as well as a couple of a group of enemies that you can only find in one area that we haven't been to yet. So that's the bulk of it, other than the 2 pirate datas, which were in the Space Pirate Lab, along with the Chozo lore and the Chozo ruins. We're gonna get the stuff here in Piranha first, because we have more to get here. First thing is, we're in the Phendrana shorelines, and in one of these big rock formations, there's a frozen insert. I can shatter it with ice and grab a missile expansion. We got a adult Sheegoth here, but we can take this thing out easily enough. Plasma beam, I mean, it barely even got going. That plasma beam is just that dominant over. So we're in the Ice Ruins East. And it's the, yep. There's another small area with a missile expansion, so we grab that. So we're now up to 245, so there's only one left, and that one's in the gravity chamber. So we're up to 96% item collection. One more power bomb expansion to grab. There's an artifact in the Chozo Ice Temple, and then there's a missile expansion in and the baby Sheegoths. They don't even need a full charged up plasma beam. The Sheegoth needs like 2 plus a couple little shots, but I mean, the fact that it's fallen that easily just shows how strong this weapon is, and it should be. It's the end game beam weapon. So we're hopping across the buildings. Whereas we went right before, which took us further into the drifts. This time we're just gonna go left, and then there's like a little building that has like a part of the ceiling that's missing, but there's ice over it, and we drop down and we grab it. So now we're at 97% items. We're gonna head into the Ice Temple. Freeway. Gotta hop all the way up. So there was a statue with water flowing out of it, but the water was frozen. We couldn't do anything. now we can shoot the water, and it melts, and the hands are no longer full of ice, so we can use the morph ball to go in there, and the hands operate like a morph ball slot, and it blasts open a little, like, hole in the bottom of the fountain that the water was flowing into, and we get the artifact. Gozo artifact acquired. The artifact of the sun, 9 to the 12. And that's the last one. So now they've all lit up orange. And we have one more missile expansion to grab. And on the way there, we're gonna look at the map here. Actually, so we're gonna have to go back through the ice ruins west. We're gonna go all the way to the end, because the gravity chamber is the deepest part of this area. Why I'm kind of upset that I missed it, but the fact that I missed a couple of scans means I guess it's not that big of a deal, because I would have had to go back that way anyway. She got this back, so we can take that thing out easily enough. But yeah, we're basically on cleanup now. We're just getting the last of the stuff for the game to unlock the good ending. And, use the spider ball to crawl up the ruined courtyard so we don't have to do the whole thing with like raising the water levels. We're not going to go straight into the pirate lab, because the lab that those pirate datas are in is the second lab, which is closer to the back entrance than the front entrance. So, and I want to make it as quick as possible, so easier to just go through the old boss chamber and then in through the back entrance. That takes you straight into the area where we got the visor. Then to go through the whole research facility. Also, the more rooms I have to be in, the fewer rooms I have to be in which I need to use the thermal visor exclusively. So we're back in the big boss chamber. There's really nothing else for us to do here, so we're just going to pass on through. Not going to go back down into Magmor just yet. Go back through the frozen pathway that the old energy tank was in. We're just heading down. We're now going back into the pirate lab. Turrets that are going to attack us. Metroids break out again. Gotta beat them. Heading up. And these ones do not upgrade into the fission Metroids that we saw in the bottom of the Phazon mines. These are still just the regular ones that we can take out with a single shot of the ice beam and then a single missile. Plasma beam takes out both of the security drones at once. We're now in the lab, I believe, where the pirate data is. Here's one of them.
Recorded to logbook.
New pirate data has been downloaded. Log 109572. Confidence is high regarding Phazon applications. We know enough about Phazon now to begin combining it with space pirate DNA. The code name for this venture will be Project Helix. Preliminary studies indicate that Phazon infusion could produce radical new pirate genomes. Benevolent mutation levels are high in current test subjects. Phazon madness is a concern, but refinements in the infusion process should reduce or neutralize the odds of mutation. Third upper level of the labs. Found it. They weren't on like a computer, they were on like screens up on the wall. I think I missed these the last time I went through this game too. Log 10444. Initial transfer of Metroids to Talon IV research facilities has been completed. 3 were terminated in an incident at the landing site, but the others were pacified and transported safely. Initial Phazon infusion testing is underway. You're here to observe the effects of Phazon on Metroids, especially their ability to absorb and process the energy given off by Phazon sources. Early research suggests considerable growth in power and size. Whether the creature stays stable thereafter remains to be seen. Let's see here, if I check my logbook. I go to pirate data so I can scroll through. No question marks. But then when I go to Chozo lore, there is still one more question mark. So now I need to get out of here. I'm going to go back the way I just came in, because that's the quickest way out, and I need to grab another upgrade. I just jumped down, which triggered all of the enemies at once. That's fine, because really matter. Now we're back in the depths of Phendrana, way at the edge. Ambushed by pirates, we're gonna keep going down. So we have to go all the way to the edge. Well, not the area of Phendrana's edge specifically, just the gravity chamber. We got the gravity suit. Preferably going in through the way we originally came out, because that will take us right buy the actually no. I want to go back through the first way. So instead of going through to the Phendrana's Edge area, just go straight to the gravity chamber. Because we had to go through Phendrana's Edge to get to the gravity chamber. But we didn't. Need to go back through there to get back. Yep, gravity chamber. So we can see that there's a missile expansion. We're in the gravity chamber now. And we can see there's a missile expansion like up into the left on like a cliff. And there's a huge ice big like thing of ice, and we knock it down. And there's a grappling hook. Missile expansion acquired. And when we go to the inventory screen, it says item collection 100%. So we're done with that. So now we head back out, and we're gonna head to the Chozo ruins because we missed something in the Elder Hall, unfortunately, which is annoying, but it's okay. So it won't take us that long to get. And then after that, there's an exit in that reflecting pool room that takes us pretty close to Samus's ship, because we're going to be heading to the artifact temple. You hear that music? You know we're heading down. We're back in Magmore, and we're gonna head towards the ruins. What's the best way to? did this go there by way of the Talon overworld? The only way to go straight to the Chozo ruins from here would be literally go back through the entire cave system. I just don't think that's an effective use of time. Having all the upgrades y'all is so nice that she can just hop over like these platform challenges. Grapple theme, such. Yeah. It's a Saturday, so not a lot of like new news with the with Nintendo or nothing. I guess the big story today is that they're suing a third-party game development company because they like showed off 3D printed versions of Nintendo products that hadn't been announced yet, and they claimed they had acquired them from other than from Nintendo, and now Nintendo's suing them for revealing stuff that they weren't ready to reveal yet. Which, I mean, and the CEO of this third-party company was directly involved in this, so, like, I get, like, I don't know, Nintendo's very aggressive about suing people that they think have violated things, and it's particularly, and they're particularly aggressive when they're about to release something new. So if there's a new game coming out, or, in this case, a new console, which is like, that's an even bigger deal because they don't, they release, of all their big AAA games, I mean, they release like several of those per year. With consoles, it's like there's only like one or two of those every decade, and so they really want this. So, like, on the one hand, are they overreacting? Maybe, but on the other hand, it feels like this company probably just was really dumb. I mean, they were showing stuff off like at a showcase, and it wasn't an officially sanctioned Nintendo thing. It wasn't like they were showing off like theoretical versions of things, because everybody knew that Switch 2, after the little teaser in January, was going to be pretty similar. But they could have been saying like, hey, we've talked to Nintendo and we've got word that our stuff is going to be compatible with their products. It wasn't that. Like, they were claiming they actually had the real stuff, and so it just kind of feels like they really screwed up. I'm not too big into covering Nintendo's lawsuits, but this was kind of a trending thing because I guess the company they're suing has been around for a while, and I was watching someone on YouTube who said they think that probably that they'll just end up settling, and that part of the settlement will involve the company liquidating. Or either that, or the company will have to liquidate to afford, whatever Nintendo's going to want to drop the lawsuit. And so, could end up being one of the, this could end up being a story that people remember as like one of the biggest like blunders ever committed at like a game hardware showcase. Ultimately, when I get that everyone's excited about a new system, and people are eager to. All right, we're not going to fight these Chozo ghosts in the Arboretum, but you don't have to. Excited about a new hardware system, and all the companies that are going to be profiting from the Switch 2's success. They're competing with each other for attention. Third-party game developers, third-party software developers, or, hardware developers, etc. But, like, wait till the system, at least wait until it's officially announced. And then you can, you know, then you can show off your stuff, or just don't make claims about having stuff before it's announced. It just seems like really big blunder. You know, I don't know what the thought process is behind that. Maybe people are just excited and they're looking to, you know, get a leg up on the competition and they get too eager or whatnot. But clearly, was a bad move and Nintendo took notice. So I'm generally not in favor of small, you know, large companies suing small companies who, but I don't know that much about the company that they're suing. I don't know how large they are. I guess they are a well-known third-party hardware developer, so they must be of a decent size. Oh, actually, interestingly enough, we don't even need to fight the Chozo ghost here. So the Chozo lore is behind the Elder statue. Kind of hard to see. I usually miss this one when I play through the game, so it's not surprising. Things bound to earthly shapes are temporal and frail. Existing in a single dimension, they are fragile, vulnerable, and ultimately mortal. However, not all things obey this law. Shapeless, they wait beyond the realm of perception. Emerging only when one arrives, you can feel their presence. Such is the will of the Chozo. Our will to defeat the evil seeping into the planet remains. We desire only to see the darkness meet its end. The will of the Chozo has no mind or reasoning of its own, though. This will be the entrusted one's trial. That's kind of an interesting thing. You know, the Chozo were clearly a very philosophical civilization. Okay, please just go away. I don't want to play. Alright. We're out of here. Alright. We're gonna take the elevator that takes us by the pirate ship. Perhaps pirate ship, because that will take us close to where Samus's ship. You know, when they're talking about it being beyond perception, I think sometimes when you're people dealing with disabilities or whatnot, that philosophical component can be really helpful in dealing with or not dealing with it. When you've kind of got a life philosophy and you're able to, you know, I'm not saying be religious or whatnot, you know, because philosophy can overlap heavily with religion or not, but, like, understanding that there's things in this world that transcend your physical body can help you have experiences that your physical ailments would initially seem to suggest you're just not able to have. Meditation and mindfulness and various things can help you discover that will to keep going, and that will, as the Chozo say, is imperceptible. It's not, you know, it's not something that can be like held in your hand. Your vision, if you have any, or any other senses. Alright. Wow, that was interesting. We kind of like bounced off the wall there, and then, you know, game physics from the early 2000s, right? And then we were able to bounce off the wall towards a grapple hook. And that then back to the landing site. We're actually going to go to the temple now. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's not really something I really want to get that much into, but it was a trending story today. so I thought I'd bring it up. But overall, you know, it's a weekend. There's not a lot of news going on, and I really don't expect a lot of first-party news from Nintendo. I expect a lot of like drips from them. Like they've been expanding this Nintendo Music app, which may or may not be a big deal to some people, and you know, they're showing off like Mario Kart World characters on their app. And, like, I mean, I just expect like little things. You know, third-party developers and stuff may start showing more stuff off as they get permission from Nintendo. Okay, so this is huge. We're walking into the temple platform here. We have all the artifacts. Our logbook's at 97%. And so we see Samus is now in the middle. We see the Chozo totem and then all the like rocks. They've got the like Chozo faces lit up and they're shooting energy into the middle. The Chozo totem starts to like rotate around. A big beam of blue light is shining in. The temple's starting to light up. And then in flies Meta Ridley to spoil the show. Meta Ridley is basically a black pterodactyl with orange wings. The orange wings are entirely made of metal, or they're artificial. Meta Ridley blows up the totem in the middle of the lock. There's a force field now in the temple, so we can't go back. And the temple area is the boss room. We're scanning Meta Ridley. New creature been entered in your logbook. Morphology, Meta Ridley, genetically enhanced Ridley metaform. Reborn and evolved through the pirate technology, Meta Ridley is a fearsome enforcer. His armored hide is extremely resilient, save for the chest, which is thinner plating. The pirates have fused a number of potent weapons to the creature, including multi-missile system, a kinetic breath weapon, a Phazon bomb launcher, and an ultra-thermal flame strike projector. Meta Ridley is also a formidable melee combatant, making any sort of engagement a risky proposition. So, basically, Meta Ridley's chest is the weak point. If I shoot it, it starts getting all electrical. He can shoot beam. He has a breath attack. Multiple different kind. He can shoot out like other like laser bombs from his flying around. I love the Meta Ridley theme. It's one of my favorites. I generally have enjoyed the remaster soundtrack better, but I seem to. I think I liked the GameCube version of this boss fight better. So I'm just shooting him with the plasma beam. So unlike this boss is more like Thardus, where you just have to slowly chip away and do damage, or the Parasite Clean as opposed to like Flagra or the Omega Pirate, where you're doing specific things and you're taking out huge chunks of HP at once. We're hopping around throughout the monuments. Meta Ridley can destroy the monuments that the artifacts are tied to, and they will drop like HP drops and things like that. All right, now he's dropped onto the. He's out on foot. He jumps off. When he drops down, there's a shockwave. Now we're down to about half health here. destroyed most of the monuments at this point. Initially, there are things you can basically hide behind. And his beam attack, his breath attack doesn't actually do any damage to the mine, but the various bombs and stuff that he each bomb attack takes a chunk out of the different, out of the rock formation. Ugh. He basically flies in front of the platform and will like bounce up, and then periodically he'll jump onto it, and then also, you know, he'll fly way up into the air and like drop bombs on you and stuff. And when he does that, he'll fly like way out and do like a bombing run. And you can see him like in the distance. It's raining. And now he's down to about 15-20% health. He jumps down and he catches on fire and his wings burn up. So he can no longer fly because all the webbing in his wings are gone. So now he's going to start getting full on aggressive. You got to shoot his head when he opens his mouth. And he's like charging at you. And then when he does that, it'll temporarily stun him, and he'll expose his chest. This is the hardest part of the fight. Because even when he jumps up in the air, you can't hit his weak point. You've got to wait until he's exposed. Jumps up in the air and he does the shockwaves. He'll like try to ram at you. That does a lot of damage if it hits you. And he'll shoot his breath attack. He doesn't really use the bombs and stuff anymore because he can't fly. health, but because we can only hit him at certain times. Got him again. Should be 2 more of these plasma charge beam shots, should take him out. He'll flash yellow when you hit his head, and that means you're making progress towards stunning him. And then he'll flash red when you actually do damage. He's getting more and more aggressive with the charging attacks. I can't stun him when he... One more hit. Taking over half my health away. Fortunately, I got everything, so I have quite a bit. But if you miss stuff, that can make this fight really hard. And I feel like this fight's... They made this fight harder in the remaster. I feel like they made it harder. I don't remember this boss being that hard when I was... Alright, and then I got him. Ridley's chest is like all electrical. He's grabbing it. The monuments in the top of the temple go from going blue to going red, and they start shooting red lasers straight into Ridley's chest, and it knocks him off the cliff of the temple into the crater, and there's an explosion. The temple then turns blue again. Magic pops out. We see Chozo ghosts, but these ones aren't corrupted, so they're good. They activate the seal. And there's now like a big beam of energy popping out that we can get into. We're gonna go into it. Impact Crater. So now we're inside the like sealed rock segment. There's a save station right there. And if you hear the squishiness, that's not because it's wet. That's because it's like it's like got, it's all full of like bio life form. Limited data and materially highly radioactive. You'll take damage from direct contact. Mutagenic qualities is 80% greater than Phazon. Unshielded bioforms below the index level P will suffer fatally. So the Phazon inside the crater is actually red, not blue. Alright, we've got the Lumigax. These are like parasites, they don't really do anything. Phazon charged reptiles, native of Talon IV, the Lumigax travels in swarms to increase the odds of survival. They absorb and radiate Phazon energy, making these swarms incredible. So, you can walk in. The main room in the middle of the crater is this huge room with like a huge pillar in the middle and all these floating platforms. You've got Vision Metroids. All of the platforms on the sides kind of look like giant teeth, so you can just tell that like this is like a creepy area. Like a very biological. Platforms are like red and brown, and they're like gooey, squishy looking tissue-like things. There's like things in the walls that look like cancerous growths. The pathways that we walk along that connect one ledge to another look almost like tendons or muscles. I mean, it's really gross looking. Got a missile station in here. And this area is really small. The impact crater is very small. It's only like 6 rows. It is a true, like, final area. Metroids are coming after us, trying to soften us up before we get to the very end. But there doesn't seem to be that many of them. That's interesting. Alright, so now we're in another tunnel, so we got out of that main area. Now we gotta use the spider ball and like a number of little tracks to get across some of this red Phazon that can damage Samus even in the Phazon 6. Like, it just shows you how strong the poison is. And now we see a huge life form, like, with like little like strings attaching it to the ceiling. Clearly it's like hooked into something. There's a huge, massive Phazon in the wall. It's a giant monster with a carapace, so like an outer shell. The outer shell is like this black insect-looking thing, and then you see its eyes that are bright red. The carapace is black, but it's got some spots on it, and it quickly descends down. This is the Phazon infusion chamber. So this is where this thing, Samus chases it down. We're now into the rectangular subchamber 1. It turns, the markings on the insects, things turn purple. A new creature has been downloaded to your logbook. Morphology, Metroid Prime. Highly evolved, Phazon producing life form. The aberration known as Metroid Prime is the source of Phazon, making it immensely powerful. A genetic flaw makes it susceptible to certain weapons for brief periods. Only its head is truly vulnerable. Other attacks are a nuisance. Offensively, Metroid Prime has a number of natural and mechanical weapons at its disposal. These include ultra-frigid breath, multi-missiles, snare beams, and particle wave projectors. Its massive strength and barbed carapace make it lethal in melee combat. Recommended maximum firepower when engaging with it. So because it turned purple, it's weak to the wave beam. Easiest way to do that is to just use the wave concussor, because that will be like a permanent thing, and then after a while it will change color. So now it's yellow and it's shooting like a power beam at me, and using the missile combos is really the key here. 2 power missiles will take it down, and then it digs down again and jumps to the next subchamber. Samus chases it again. These chambers are rectangular rooms with all kind of gross red and black disgusting stuff growing on the walls. Orange stuff too. It's like shooting missiles at me. I mean, it really is like a giant black, like, spider. I think it's only got 6 or 7 of these. And now this time, it'll race back and forth across the room, so there's little, like, morph ball tracks we can use to avoid getting stepped on. Like, now it's ice beam. So I might just use the ice spreader here. And that's enough to get it to range. It runs it back at us again. This time more power beam. We haven't seen it go with plasma. It's down to about a little over 50% health. And it's got like a mouth at the bottom of its carapace, and it shoots like a beam out of that. Now it's down to half health, so it digs down to another chamber. So Samus follows again and jumps down. This one looks like it has like veins on the wall almost. Now it's using a attack to try to draw us in, and then it switches to the wave beam, the wave. Now it'll start shooting things at me that I can blow up. And these attacks are weak. They basically only exist so that I can grab like this. Now he's plasma beam, so his skin's turned like the marking on his carapace is turned like bright red. Ice beam again. So if we can hit him with the ice spreader, that would be good. Again. Hit him with the super missiles. Digs down one more time. Now this chamber is mostly like black. It doesn't have as much of the growths on it, but it looks like there's like bone looking things on the walls. The Wave Buster is great for this boss because it locks on. Nice. 100 HP. And alright, now he switched to ice. Now he's charging back and now it's charging back and forth. He's starting to shift his weakness more aggressive. I just had to hit it with both. Got it. And then this time it falls into a wall and it drops down. So we chase it. So we're down in sub-chamber 4 now. And this time we're chasing it down. There's like a... Samus walks up, and we see all this Phazon, and then like there's these red vein-looking things. She jumps down into the depths. There's a huge pool of Phazon. That the core of the thing comes out of the mangled corpse. It's like just a big brain with like a Phazon shield and some eyes and some tentacles. And then there's all these like weird little like little pillar thingies on the floor. So creature. Metroid Prime, the core essence of Metroid Prime. Scan indicates that Phazon energy from Metroid Prime is invulnerable to all conventional weapons. Only attacks from a Phazon-infused arm cannon will damage it. It generates pools of Phazon when it attacks. Use these to fuel your suit's Phazon weapon system. The entity can also spawn Metroids to assist in its battle, rendering itself invisible. And I now have 100% for the luck. So... basically, the cave down here is pretty standard, other than the fact that it's kind of got the same gross, like, bio. And it blows up those things to, like, give me some color. The only attack it really has is to summon Metroids and to send out, like, these blue shock. But if I attack it, all beam weapons just reflect off, as do missiles. And when it creates Metroids, that's when it spawns the pools of Phazon. And then I have to use different visors to find it. So in this case, I'm gonna use the X-ray visor when I'm using Phazon Beam. My gun like expands and glows bright blue with Phazon. I've just used up all the Phazon, so now I have to use... Now I gotta use Thermal Visor. The easiest way to take out the little Metroids when he summons them is to just... and I have to switch between Thermal, X-ray, and Combat Visor. But he's... and it says hyper mode when I'm in Phazon game, and its eyes bug out of its head when it's using when I'm hitting it. It's down to about a little over half health. An X-ray visor currently. The easiest way to take out the Metroids is to just lay down a power bomb, and the Metroids will walk into the explosion. And when you have the Phazon Beam active, you're in the Thermal Visor, your thing is red hot. Now my weapon glows a bright blue. Phazon. It's chock full of Phazon, and it's like bugging out and turning bright red when I hit it with Phazon. Clearly doing a lot of damage. The Metroids he dropped basically just exist to like give you HP. I mean, his attacks do a lot of damage. Or its attacks, I guess. its health goes down rapidly when you hit it with the Phazon. So, clearly ineffective. Types of Metroids. I'm now on thermal visor, so it rotates between combat visor, being invisible in combat, then X-ray, then thermal. It's very low on health. One more, if I'm able to get a full round of Phazon people on it, one more and I take it out. The body, its carapace is just like sitting in a deep in the corner of the room, but it doesn't. Oh, nice. So we'll be able to hit it out of the combat visor, so we can see it glowing bright red, and then all of a sudden it starts shaking. It starts seeing like it looks like we're seeing double of it. So much Phazon in it, and it's like got too much, and then it just, the face part disappears. It just turns into a blob. There's like some tentacles coming off of it, like little tiny ones, and then one grabs Samus and starts pulling her in. She's struggling. All of a sudden there's energy flowing out of her. She hops back. Her suit downgrades back into the gravity suit. The Phazon that was corrupting it into the Phazon suit is gone. She starts running away. Crater collapse imminent. Evacuate immediately. Temple starts blowing up. It's collapsing. She uses a remote thing to call her ship in. She jumps off the edge of the temple as her ship flies down below to catch her. Where the key was is on fire. As she's watching it. She's in the gravity suit, by the way, the like purple, red, and she takes off her helmet. You can see that she's got a blonde ponytail. She doesn't have her full suit off though, so you don't see her in her zero suit form. Zooms in on her eyes. She closes her eyes and kind of looks down solemnly, maybe giving a thought to what used to be here. And then she flies off in her ship. And because we got 100% completion... Oh, never mind. That'll come later. So now we've got the credits. And it's just showing, like... I fast forward through this? I don't think so. So I'm gonna let it run. Because there's another clip right afterwards, and sometimes when you unlock those extra scenes, they won't let you see them if you skip the credits. So I really like this game. I'm not really one for first-person shooters. But I think what I've always enjoyed about this game is the information gathering component to it. I really like reading the Chozo lore. It feels like discovering primary sources. That's exactly what it is. I enjoy, you know, the space pirates are just like comically evil bad guys, right? Like experimentation. They show up, they just destroy everything on any planet they come into. They don't even care about it. But like reading about their science experiments and stuff, and then, you know, ultimately being the one who stops them feels good. It's like cool, because like the space pirates are so creepy. You know, just the exploration part I like. You know, it's a fairly contained world. It's not that big. Like that's... I feel like that's the difference between like what exploration games were in the 2000s and the first half of the 2010s versus like the last decade of gaming, where it's all been open world, open world, open world. Is that open worlds are great if you do them properly, but a lot of companies just build an open world, they don't put anything in it. Or everything in it are like fetch quests where you just go and find something and bring it back to whoever gave you the quest or to someone else that they want you to deliver it to, or you know, whatever. And it's like, you know, if you're gonna get 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 hours out of an open world game, there needs to be enough variation in content that it feels interesting. Like, the Zelda Breath of the Wild duology is great, but like, people joke all the time about the Korok seeds because it's just like, oh, you are just traveling around to find all these seeds, and they'll give you some, you know, they give you some interesting stuff when you get them, but it's just like the same thing over and over and over again, and there's so many of them that it feels like they just kind of were like, oh, okay. And I think this is something other companies, not just Nintendo, have struggled with, is like, they don't know what to do, so they just create one quest line that's like insanely long, and it's just the same thing over and over and over again. Whereas in this type of game, they're kind of like free exploration zones, but it's fairly limited and contained, which I think nowadays that's not, like, you can do more than that nowadays, so it definitely feels dated when a game does something like what Metroid Prime did. But, you know, 30 years ago, 3D gaming had only been around for, or 25 years ago, 3D gaming had only been around for a short time. I mean, N64 and PS1 were only the generation before, and that was like, that was brand new. So, and Sega, gotta give nod to Sega, even though they've been out of the console game for a long time. They've been mostly just creating games and selling them to other companies. But I really like the reading component. I think it's interesting. I think there's something cool about exploring a planet that has a, like, dead civilization, but it hasn't been dead that long, so a lot of their artifacts are still there. I mean, you know, if you remember in the observatory in the pirate lab, they said that the Phazon hadn't even fully destroyed Talon IV yet, and the pirate and the Chozo, according to their lore, fought the Phazon for a long time before it finally destroyed the water and things like that that kept them alive. So I really enjoyed this game. I mean, I don't play a ton of shooters. There's a second and a third game that are coming out. That's why that already came out. That's why Metroid Prime 4 is the one for Switch 2. But those have yet to be re-released in any form in the last several years. Like, there was a trilogy. I think maybe it was either for Wii or for Wii U. They released like a trilogy with all three together. But I don't think they're on Switch, and they haven't talked yet about Switch 2. It's entirely possible that they just, like, in June, they're just like, hey, Metroid Prime 4 is coming out on this date, and a month before we're going to put out Prime 2 and 3 together as like a bundle or something. Because Prime 1 is better than Prime 2 and 3, even though it has less, like, story interactions. It kind of set the stage, so I'll be interested to see what they do with Prime 4, if it kind of, like, feels as fresh as what Prime 1 was, but actually has a pretty good story, too. Like, they started adding in the other bounty hunters in Prime 3, which I think was pretty interesting. I never finished Prime 3, because with, like, my hand-eye coordination, the motion controls and stuff for Wii was just too hard. Why I didn't play, Skyward Sword either. Because I didn't like the motion controls. But yeah, I really like this game. It's a good time. It's nice and short, kind of a relic of a past time. I feel like I feel like the GameCube and maybe the early Wii generation was kind of towards the end of like most games that are really, really expensive. It's like okay for them to only be like 20 or 30 hours. I feel like just as prices continue to go up, people have demanded more, which means developers have to make more. All right, so now she's flying off Talon IV, off into space towards her next journey, which is in the next game. And then it says mission final, and it's the same as the game over screen, except that we see her, and it's like blue instead of red. Total completion, 100%. Total time, 10 hours and 27 minutes. And then because we got we got over 90% of the log, it shows her without her helmet on. And because we got 100% of the log, we get the secret post-credits bonus scene. It shows the Phazon pool in the bottom of the crater. And it's bubbling all creepy-like in the dark. Although it's shining, because Phazon is shiny. And then you just see an arm in the Phazon suit come out, and the arm has like an eye in it, so it's like... And if you know anything about Metroid Prime or Super Smash Bros., you know that that's Dark Samus. That Dark Samus is Metroid Prime. And so, Dark Samus is like a blend of Samus's DNA with Metroid Prime. So that's all for this game. I really like it. Again, not a lot of Nintendo news today. Just the whole thing about like the lawsuit that they're filing over that company like claiming to have a Switch 2 beforehand. We'll be back with more games in the future. So thank you so much for joining us. And you know, probably Paper Mario 2 is going to be the new side game. Then once we get through Metaphor, we're gonna probably get into Fire Emblem, because been eager to put that on the channel, and had we not taken a long hiatus, it would already be up. So thank you so much, and have a wonderful rest of your day, and please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. We'll see you in the next video.